Obviously, new details emerge on the school shooting in Georgia. 2 students and 2 teachers were killed in a high school shooting in Georgia. School is back. And maybe some of you just found out in the most American way possible by yet another gruesome, horrific school shooting. Classic. How could this have happened, we say, in a country where it happens all the time?
And that's where we're going to begin, with a lot of hurting hearts and a lot of hate, it seems, in this country. It's happened again in another American community reeling from deadly gun violence. Here's what we know so far. It happened at Appalachia High School, that's in Barrow County, Georgia, about 45 miles east of Atlanta. Investigators say that a student opened fire, killing 2 other students, both of them just 14 years old, and 2 teachers. The weapon was an AR-style rifle. 9 others have been hurt, and the alleged killer is also 14 years old. His name, we're told, is Colt Gray, and he is now in custody. He has been charged with murder, and prosecutors say that he will be tried as an adult.
This is the deadliest school shooting in Georgia's history. 14-year-old Marquez Coleman saw the shooter open fire.
I'm sitting like this, and the door is like this. So something just told me to look to my left. I look to my left. I see a kid with he had like a big gun, it was like an AR. With he got his head sticking out the door with the gun, and then he just started. Then I got up, I started running. He started shooting like 10 times. He shot at least 10 times, and then I ran to the back of the classroom. I dived behind the desk, and my teacher had got in front of me like he was guarding. But like the gunshots were so close to me, like my ears started ringing real bad. Like the whole classroom was smoking, like, and everything. And then when he finally got out of the classroom, my teacher started barricading the door with desks and bookshelves and all that. And then I had got up. When I had got up, I had saw one of my classmates on the ground bleeding so bad.
Marquez's father said his son called him during the shooting screaming and crying. Later, he found a bullet hole in a laptop marked by a bullet in his son's backpack. Mark Strassman is in Barrow County, Georgia, with the latest. Mark, good morning.
This chatter is correct. Chatters, they're trying him as an adult specifically because they want to use capital punishment to make an example. Now, there's a couple different perspectives here. One, in the state of Georgia, there are certain crimes that you can be charged as an adult as, even if you're a minor when you commit them. Obviously, killing 4 people would be one of those crimes. Having said that, however, capital punishment obviously is a punishment for a crime such as this one for adults in the state of Georgia, despite the fact that it is declared unconstitutional for, I believe, minors to be subjected to adult punishments in general. Specifically, I think capital. Specifically the death penalty. Now, having said that, it will be a wonderful new Supreme Court cycle where they will make that, permissible eventually. So that'll be cool. Because in the United States of America, we don't necessarily understand that, like, we and our culture, in terms of like how quickly we go, oh, we should kill this person, we should kill this 14-year-old, is probably playing a role in having more 14-year-olds just like that shooter develop in this incredibly violent culture. But, that's neither here nor there. It's additionally insane to have this conversation because the reason why you do the death penalty, like the arguments for the death penalty, which I am against, by the way, unconditionally, is it's a deterrence. Except the overwhelming majority of mass shootings already end with the death penalty right there, because most of those people either want to die with a suicide by cop or just kill themselves after they're done killing a bunch of people. So, kind of a stupid fucking deterrence. It's not a deterrence at all. It's just pure, I'm seeing red. I want to act like I'm doing something. I'm satiating the masses that have a thirst for blood. I'm quenching their thirst by killing this 14-year-old, that is now in the custody of the state. That's basically it. A lot of people forget that the criminal justice system is not there for like immediate vengeance. It's there so that we have rules, regulations, restrictions, punishments, with the overarching goal of ensuring that people just don't do violent crimes, either by way of deterrence or by way of rehabilitation. And we've completely lost sight of that. I think the average American genuinely, I think about this a lot. The average American, I think, genuinely looks at the criminal justice system as like a vehicle to do harm to people who have done harm to others. And that's literally not the point. Like, that's not the point at all. That has never been the point. That's not, like, we are not medieval peasants, okay? What the fuck are you thinking? What are you saying? And yet it is such a commonly held belief, commonly held attitude, even in a very progressive community such as this one. It's actually one of those issues. It's actually one of those issues that I talk about quite a bit, because I'm obviously in favor of prisoners having more rights, more liberties, and our criminal justice system completely being revamped to focus on rehabilitation rather than incarceration in an effort to reduce recidivism in this country, which are pretty fucking high. But whenever this conversation comes up, and it doesn't have to come up in the midst of like a very obviously emotional mass shooting that happens all the fucking time, right? Even if I'm talking about it offhanded, just generally talking about like the horrifying conditions in our prisons or whatever, people literally will come in and be like, what if a super serial rapist pedophile, like, killed your mom and then your entire family, like, what then? And it's like, this does not change the analysis. Like, in that immediate moment, your retaliation and the things that you want to do to this fucking horrifying murderer does not change the reality that, like, that's not how the criminal justice system is supposed to work, okay? That's why you're not the judge, okay? There is an supposedly impartial third party that is supposed to be looking at the situation and analyzing it evenly. That's why you're not sitting on the fucking jury, dumbass, And thank God for that, because a lot of people get falsely fucking implicated in crimes and shit. And you don't want people that are falsely implicated in crimes to go to prison permanently or even killed. That's the whole point. It's like, oh, what if your mother was killed? What would you want in that situation? It's like, yeah, I know. I would probably also be emotional in that circumstance, but that's precisely why you're not the fucking jury, nor the executioner, nor the judge. $40-month sub, gun reform killed a child. It's case by case. No, the kid is not going to be implicated playing devil's advocate. Anyway. What's crazy about it is that in terms of this story, there are a lot of parties that are responsible for this death and destruction. Okay? Obviously, first and foremost, the 14-year-old. But that's still a fucking minor. That's like barely a sentient being, okay? That is a baby. Do you understand? So we have to immediately look at the situation and go, how the fuck did a 14-year-old get to this goddamn point? Okay? There's a reason why we analyze minors and adults differently, okay? Because if you have this energy for a 14-year-old, okay, what's going to happen when you got a fucking 10-year-old that does this shit next time? You know what I mean? And by the way, that is a thing that has happened before in the United States of America. I forget how old the youngest school shooter is, but I think it was like literally a kindergartner before who like tried to shoot her fucking teacher. Luckily, he failed. Or was it a 6-year-old? Yeah, it was something like that. It was like something insane, which is the most American story of all time. So, like, using the capital punishment as a deterrence strategy in this conversation is additionally stupid because like that's not how mass shooters work. You know what I mean? Mass shooters more often than not have no care or consideration for their fucking lives. You understand? So you're not even doing deterrence in this situation. You're not even like technically pointing to like a theoretical deterrence. Okay? It's pretty crazy. The kid's parents should be held responsible. And they most likely will be. There are, because in the United States of America, this is such a commonplace thing that we have like other instances, other incidents, other mass shootings we can draw from. There is already a legal precedent. This happened, I believe, either last year or like 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly when it happened. God damn, it happens so much. Okay. What about a maniac, genocidal mass murder like Netanyahu, rehab or capital punishment? What about medical experimentation as a punishment? Dude, again, you're talking about vengeance and not justice, okay? You're talking about vengeance and not justice. And it's also stupid to have this conversation about fucking war criminals who are literally at the top of entire countries engaging in genocide, okay? They have an entirely separate set of motivations at that point. Okay? They're not even human. I'm not going to entertain this conversation right now. I'm having a normal conversation about like how criminal justice is supposed to work. Okay? And yeah, Puyi is a good answer for the Netanyahu answer, obviously, but that's besides the point. You know, send him to the motherfucking work camps. But we'll get that. We'll get there in a second. Okay? Yeah, send him to the work camps, have him fucking rehabilitate, have him come out of that a new man, you know? Yeah, James Crumbly and Michigan school shooter's parents sentenced to 10 years in prison for not stopping a runaway train. Yeah, this was the first ever parents convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting, and they were sentenced to at least 10 years in prison Tuesday as a Michigan judge lamented missed opportunities that could have prevented their teenage son from possessing a gun and killing 4 students in 2021. The mass shooting happened in 2021. The court case obviously continued well into 2024, and the conviction came a couple months ago. So there's a couple things that I want to talk about here with respect to like the additional details and the FBI's involvement, which are fucking it's crazy. What is this? Then why did you stream yourself shooting automatic weapons for content? What? Because I like shooting guns. But I'm not a fucking dumbass who thinks that we shouldn't have any restrictions whatsoever. We should have all of the restrictions. I do not necessarily have an issue with shooting guns in general, okay? But I also understand what guns are for, okay? Guns are for killing. That's it. That's the one purpose of a weapon. You can't use it for anything else. You can't use it to fucking, cook your food. You can't use it for travel, transportation. There's no other utility for a gun. It's just, a lethal machine, a machine of murder, okay? And hunting is still lethal, okay? You're proving the point that I'm making. You can't use a gun as a fucking paperweight, The primary purpose of a gun is to kill. And therefore, if that is the case, then we should probably have severe restrictions on who can get it, how they can get it, and ensure that it's not as simple as just walking into a goddamn Walmart and then being able to open carry it out of there. Do you understand? Yes, I understand your point. Yeah, but you still wanted to talk shit because I shot weapons and will continue to shoot weapons for content in the future. Because you're a goddamn liberal who cares about the optics more than the actual words that are coming out of my fucking mouth when serious people are having serious conversations about serious issues. I get it too. Don't worry. You're a concerned trolling radlib in the chat who's like, well, how can you have any opinions on gun control when I've seen you fucking shoot guns? Shut the fuck up. Yeah, why did you stream yourself driving a car but hate when people run over grandmas? Well, first of all, I do also like to always, investigate a little further. Did the grandma have bad fucking vibes, for example? Anyway, I just learned that as of 2022, our civilian gun ownership rates are the highest in the world, higher than places like Serbia and Yemen. Yes, Yemen is the number 2. You're missing an important function of guns. Bud Light cans aren't going to blast themselves. Listen, until a gun like this one can serve a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour, I will forever tell you that the only purpose for these things is murder. Okay? That's it. At the top of the hour, I serve you the 3-minute ad break, not the gun. What? So you advocating for eliminating any elements of retribution and justice? I mean, that's like the entire point of delegating punishment to the state. Like everyone want to make their matter in their own hands, but that will just cause chaos for society. So the government inherits the responsibility. I believe that rehabilitation and retribution can go hand in hand. No, dude. It's not retribution. What the fuck are you talking about? That is not justice at all. The fuck do you mean retribution? Who the fuck are you? Are you an anime villain? What do you mean? This is villain speak, dog. Like every fucking popular media that uses that terminology is usually a villain. You understand that, right? Retribution. Like, shut the fuck up. That's not the purpose of the fucking criminal justice system, dumbass. Also, I never said shit is sweet. It's not like restricting someone's freedoms is going to be a fun process, okay? Try it out. Let me lock you in a fucking cage for an extended period of time and tell you when to fucking wake up and when to go to sleep and what you can and can't do, that you can't see your loved ones. And then you can tell me if that's not like punishment, okay? Of course, prison isn't sweet anyway. The problem is the way we analyze it is retribution because you're an American and every American has that Sephiroth in their fucking minds. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. What's your take on guns don't kill people? People kill people? Yeah, people do kill people. It's just guns make it a lot easier to kill a lot of people, especially assault weapons. And yes, that is a distinction, okay? Before people go, actually, how could you make those restrictions? It's like, you can, okay? We have. And, the AR platform in general, straight up is designed to more efficiently murder a bunch of people, very little recoil. A kid can fucking use it, okay? Straight up, especially if you have optics on that bad boy, dude. The entire purpose of that is to murk as many people as possible without having to reload quickly. Anyway, here is the 3-minute ad break now, by the way, before we move on. Research shows more guns equals more death. Therefore, if you can isolate the variable and the variable results in more death, then it's the guns doing it, not the people. Yes, Uh, do you think California's assault weapons classifications are valid? I think half of the items on that list are pointless. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid fucking loophole laws. There's a lot of patchwork laws that they have, okay? In the state of California, you can't have a pistol grip on an AR style weapon, okay? You can't have a pistol grip on it. It's fucking annoying, all right? The real problems, in my opinion, come from like giving anyone and everyone a fucking gun, okay? Like, there are reasonable, common sense gun safety measures, okay, that other countries where there are guns that people can go out and purchase that need to be implemented here, okay? You need to get a psychiatric evaluation before you get a gun. You need to have multiple people offer like a personality witness or whatever the fuck it's called before you should be able to get a gun, okay? And those people could be held legally liable if you do something crazy with that gun. We have the absolute dumbest fucking gun laws. We have no gun laws at all. Dog, we have, I think this was in Georgia, actually, but we literally have ammunition automatic vending machines. Like there was a company that was trying to do a startup for ammo vending machines, man. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Texas. Yeah. Character witness is the term I was forgetting. How about no guns at all, Hasan? I mean, look, I think that is utopian. I agree with it. A disarmed society is a significantly better society than an armed one. Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay? Look at Japan. Perfect example. It's just that in the United States of America, when there are currently more guns in circulation than there are people, that is impossible. Especially because we have to absolutely take baby steps. God, I love how a leftist that preaches material analysis can't imagine why disarming a populace may not be the best idea, or how we can make strides in reducing violence without taking away the best tool to ward off oppressors. Not even mentioning the fact that gun control isn't even a thing anymore. Anyone with an internet connection, a 3D printer, and access to a hardware store can make a gun anywhere in the world. You're right, brother. You're absolutely right. Hey, also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like we're a genocidal state currently engaging in a genocide. We are a fascist state already by your metric. I haven't really seen the well-armed society actually rise up against their masters in any meaningful capacity. So perhaps it has nothing to do with that at all. Maybe you should go take a fucking shower, sister. Okay? Sorry. Goddamn anarchist, dude. Fantasizing about a fucking revolution that will come. A friend of mine invented a magazine attachment for ARs that fit a loophole in California's AR laws. After he killed himself with a pistol, the NRA paid for his wife's lawyers to get back the guns that were seized. Hard to literally fight against guns. That's awesome. I think Jace Orange Tail took the political power comes out of the barrel of a gun bit too literally. I know. Anyway. It's such a stupid fucking conversation to be had, dude. It's also funny because like it's completely made up. Okay. It is completely like a relatively new way of thinking in terms of how guns should be calculated. And the materialist analysis in this circumstance is actually that guns are a commodity that American manufacturers produce, and therefore Americans that have nothing else, no sense of community, no sense of purpose in their lives, and are heavily alienated, actually associate themselves with commodities. It is the only formative cultural signifier that you can point to. Okay? And guns is heavily associated. The Second Amendment, and rather the modern interpretation of the Second Amendment, is a way that they've sold it to the fucking public. This is how you become an American, baby. You take a gun and you shoot it. You shoot the gun, okay? Just aim the barrel downrange. And so it's always really funny whenever like leftists and anarchists and shit come in here and they start chirping at me about like you know, the proletariat revolution will occur inevitably with the guns that we have acquired. You know, revolution happens at the barrel of a gun or whatever the fuck. Yeah, you're right. That's what's crazy, by the way, is that like the interpretation of the Second Amendment is unironically a relatively new phenomenon in the history of the United States. And it was conducted by material interests at play. Like gun manufacturers created a gun lobby. They actually heavily lobbied the government to ensure that you could have a steady flow of weapons that people could purchase. Post-Vietnam, there was a lot of surplus of military gear, specifically military rifles. What did you do with that surplus? You either got to sell it to other countries, which we do, right? Or you sell it to the American people. The beauty of the AR platform is that it also is so customizable that it creates entire cottage industries on top of that. You got the optics, you got the handles, you got different stocks that you can use. That's why it was the single most profitable. It's the F-150 of weapons, okay? It is. It's like a fucking Lego. AR-15 is Legos for adults. It straight up is. It's all money, okay? It's moneyed interests. But you will never understand that until you live in the United States of America, okay? And as someone who didn't originally grow up here, when I first came to America, I couldn't understand it either. I was shocked. And in my effort to better understand gun culture, as I was covering it quite a bit, quite extensively, I learned about it. I shot guns, okay? And I enjoyed it. This has not changed my opinion on gun control even a little bit. If anything, it has solidified my opinion on the necessity for common sense gun violence prevention measures in this goddamn country, okay? It is insane. And you have to be a complete fucking dumbass to not recognize that. Okay? You have been duped by larger powers at play here. Companies that have an interest in maintaining the current way of, the current order of society so that they can keep selling you weapons, toys. The funniest part about gun safety is, you know who knows gun safety better than anyone else? The fucking hogs at the goddamn shooting range. Okay? Because when you're interacting with someone who is uninitiated with guns, you have to be extra careful.
Every victory